Let's bring in Dan Shaughnessy. Does a great job covering baseball for the Boston Globe, Baseball Hall of Famer. Dan, is it a broadcaster's responsibility to be in the clubhouse, as David Price suggests?
I think it doesn't hurt, but I don't think it's a requirement, especially when you spend 24 years in the big leagues in the clubhouse, as Dennis Eckersley has. I mean, this is a phony argument by Price. I'm not buying it. I mean, I'm in the clubhouse all the time. They don't want you there. And I understand why in many cases. But, you know, the notion is they expect ex-players to be good to players, and when it doesn't happen, and again, there's nothing highly critical about Dennis Eckersley's commentary. It's very blunt and candid, and he says a million good things when good things happen. If somebody doesn't do their job, he'll call him on it. Same as he'll call it on himself. This was the most stand-up guy I think I ever covered in the big leagues. Go back and look at what he did after he gave up the Gibson home run, the one in the Dodger, World Series 1988. He took wave after wave of reporters. He never made excuses. He deflected criticism of other guys, took it on himself, and it's a bad argument. For David Price he's also told us some people don't understand how hard this game is. That is so upside down, it's beyond the pale.
What do you think is at the root of Price's issues with Eckersley? Is it one particular comment? Is it a combination of comments?
I think there's an overall feeling in that room that he's too critical because, Remy and Rice are not as critical. Tim Wakefield, they have a lot of ex-Sox guys who give commentary, and they just expect players to say all good things and cover up their mistakes. And I think that's not what you're going to get with Eckersley, and that's the fans like that. It's better that way. So it doesn't wash well with the players necessarily. And I think that David just doesn't like the way he gets talked about himself and is using this notion that he's standing up for his teammates. Nobody asked him to stand up for them. And to try to embarrass a guy, a Hall of Famer, on a plane like that, and then to not have the manager or other teammates say, hey, that's not the way we do things here, which would be the correct way to handle this. That hasn't been done. That's the only reason they turn a one-day story into a one-month story.
Why do you think that the Red Sox, particularly John Farrell, have taken sort of an ambivalent position, I should say, on this issue? Farrell has said he has not spoken to Eckersley. He has not apologized to Eckersley. Why do you think the Red Sox are taking this approach?
Well, John Farrell is either afraid of the player or he agrees with them. Either case, it's not good. Now, above Farrell, there's been all kinds of apologies. The owners, Sam Kennedy, the CEO, Dave Dombrowski, have all said the right thing, not the way we do things here. But they don't seem to have the power over their $217 million pitcher to make that happen. So, again, the thing is still sitting there. And fans are pretty much 100% behind Eckersley and 0 behind Price, which is not good. The team's lost 14 out of 22. They don't need this distraction. Players are getting asked who applauded and who didn't. It's become way, way bigger. One stupid thing has become way bigger. They could have made it all go away.
Talking to Dan Shaughnessy, Boston Globe columnist, joining us here on the Dan Patrick Show. How does this get resolved, or does it get resolved? I mean, Eckersley was in Cooperstown over the weekend. Is he back on the job this week? Do you think there'll be any lingering issues moving forward?
Well, Eckersley's in what they call the Legends Suite at Fenway tomorrow night. It's a ceremonial thing. They'll put Dwight Evans and bring guys back and give him a night with fans in the suite upstairs, and then they show him on the big board during the game. When that happens tomorrow, it'll be like Bill Belichick and Brady are up there on the big board. And so that'll be a nice reception for him. He's back on the booth on Thursday. There was talk about a meeting with Price and Eckersley. I don't think Eckersley's disposed to meet with a guy who is thus far not apologetic, still calling him out for not being in the clubhouse, and basically clueless about the whole situation.
One of the things that I wondered when this first went down, Dan, was, there was a vacuum kind of left behind when David Ortiz left that clubhouse. Do you think this would be happening if Ortiz was around?
I do not. I mean, Ortiz was at the ballpark yesterday. David's done a nice job staying clear this year because, he doesn't want to be a distraction. He has not been. He came out yesterday to help honor the 2007 champs. He was part of that. And in the course of it was asked a lot of questions and said, he said he likes everybody, but he said, David should apologize.
The end part of all this is that, David Price is hurt on the DL with the elbow problems. How significant are these elbow issues for Price?
Yeah, that's really the larger baseball story here, and that's what they should be talking about right now. He didn't pitch in spring training, took 2 months off. He's never had elbow trouble, led the majors in innings last year. So there was concern. 31 years old, never really had an issue there, and all the money still owed to him. So they went slowly. He didn't go for Tommy John. That seemed good. And then when he made his debut, he got better each time, more command, until he had that great outing, 8 innings of shutout ball against the Yanks on national TV a couple of Sundays ago. Then he had a stinker in Anaheim on a late Saturday, kind of got lost, and then he was barking on him, he said, and they put him on the DL before his start at home last Friday. So they're saying he's going to pick up a ball in a day or two and give it a shot, and then I think they can pitch him later in the homestand, or if it's bad, send him back to Andrews and explore. Right now they're trying to minimize the extent of this, and they're going to need him to get where they want to go the last 2 months.
Is John Farrell in any trouble out there?
Well, it wouldn't be good if they don't make the playoffs or if they got broomed out in the first round again like they did last year. I think that would be bad for him. But they have the best team, and they're not playing that way. So that's never a good thing. It's 5 years here. He's got a chance to finish first for the third time in 5 years. That would be pretty good, and that would give him quite a bit of solidarity, you would think. But they need to do better in October than they did last year.
Hey, always great to visit with you, Dan. Appreciate the time.
Anytime. Take care.
It's Dan Shaughnessy. Covers the Red Sox at the Boston Globe.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.